All right, welcome to episode 28 of the Grindhouse podcast. I'm your host, Edwin Cabrera. Across the screen from me is my guy, my dude. How you doing, Chris?
Sup? I'm doing all right, man. I'm quarantining. I'm chilling. Yeah. How you
The
doing,
dad hat, rocking the Boston Bruins dad hat.
dude? I have to right now because I need a
Quintessential
haircut. I need a
Boston white
haircut.
guy thing to do.
My hair's growing out. I haven't gotten a lineup in 3 months. Now things are weird right now. Things are definitely pretty weird.
Yeah, in terms of leaving the house, all I do now is it's kind of like the best kind of prison in a way because like I the only thing I can do is go for a walk. So I feel like
It's
I'm
li- yeah, it's jail with the internet.
yeah, exactly. With the internet
Yeah.
and video games and like, being at your house, but it's definitely like very constricting.
What have you been playing for video games?
So I downloaded a bunch the other day. That Spider-Man game, oh,
I've heard good things
that
about
Spider-Man
that
game
game.
is crazy. I just started it today. That Spider-Man game is crazy because it's like the city. They first of all, the graphics are amazing. This it's set in New York City and it looks like New York City. And it's like I haven't really kind of like tried everything or the whole map, but it looks pretty sprawling to me. And like
Yeah.
they do the controls for spider webbing through the city. It's so easy but at the same time so like freeing. It's not cheesy, it's not hard to do, it's just like easy to understand and you can literally like spiderweb through the city.
So
And
it's
even
like
doing
an open world where you can it's like GTA where you can like roam around. Is
it's
that
like GTA but with like I think the controls are just like more just better, maybe
yeah?
it's not as sprawling as GTA is but I think the controls are better. The fights are super fun, super easy. um like I said, like just spider webbing through the city, like GTA can't do that. you know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure like you can't fly a plane in Spider-Man, so it's all even at the end of the day. But Spider-Man's
True.
fun. Aside from that, GTA, as always, we were kind of fucking around the other day,
Yeah.
on a mission.
Yeah. That was fun. That was a good time. Definitely
Yeah.
gonna do that again.
So you and John Lee, shout out to John Lee, are my new like GTA partners. Like I'm definitely working my way up to doing the casino heist. And that like we can all of the three of us, 'cause we need at least 3 to 4 people to pull off the casino heist. Or at least I
Yeah.
think we need 3. So I got you two. So once I buy the arcade, we're gonna be doing a little bit
Come
of casino heist.
nice.
What
I'm
about you?
down.
What about you?
Um, I've been like revisiting some old games. Some just old NES games. Old Nintendo shit. Obviously GTA. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, which that game is fucking nuts.
I literally just
Um,
got the free Red Dead Redemption, so I'm gonna play the first one and then
yeah,
I'm gonna buy the second one.
yeah, it's crazy. It's made by Rockstar, so it's made by the same people that make GTA. Dude, they know how to make quality games.
Yeah.
Games like super cinematic. It's great, but it's definitely like time consuming. It's not like a game where you like, oh, I'm gonna play this for a half hour. It's like no, you sit down and you play for like 3-4 hours at a time. And
Yeah, that's my problem with video games. Is like I still don't want to do that. And like I think no matter how good the video game is, I think like 3 hours is like my wall. Like 3 hours,
same,
I'm kind of
same.
like, all right, I want to do something else.
Yeah, that honestly, I'm the same way. Dude, I've also been playing. I don't know if you ever played this, but it was on the old PlayStation. But Crash Bandicoot,
Oh, I love, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
dude. So someone remade it on. They're selling it on Steam, so I ended up buying it, and I've been playing the shit out of that. It's so fucking fun. So yeah, it's just like going back to those like comfort games and like
Did you hear that they're remaking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater,
yeah, yeah.
PS4 and I think Xbox.
I think it comes out in September.
Yeah, man, dude, I'm
Yeah,
getting that. I am getting that. That is one of my all-time favorite games. That game's a
yeah.
classic.
Oh, it's fucking great. I
I
love
think
that game.
I think there's a few games that you really got to tip your hat to. like in terms of being ahead of his time for either like gameplay or graphics. I think obviously Grand Theft Auto is one of them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think Tony Hawk is one of them. I think you have to tip your cap. Recently I tried the WWE 2018, like 2K18.
Yeah.
Dude, so bad. So the gameplay is like as bad as like, you know what gameplay is better? The WCW Revenge that came out in 1997 for the Nintendo 64.
And that's hilarious.
Better than WWE 2K18, and that was over 20 years ago. That's how bad this game is. Some games just like some companies, I think, just like don't even try to be appealing at all. Like,
yeah, 100%. You know, they're trying to do it on the cheap and then sell it for $60, and then it's fucked up.
Bullshit.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Not giving you quality. It's no Rockstar, you know, just so.
My grudge with Rockstar is like when you're playing online, and I fucking hate this. I'm not an online player. When you're playing online and I'm just trying to do a mission to like kind of improve my character, you have to interact with other assholes who are playing the game with you. And all they want to do is kill you the second they see you. So like I'm trying to do a mission, I'm flying my helicopter, and all of a sudden somebody shoots a missile at me and I'm dead. And I have to like start from the beginning and try to like get to the place.
That's the problem with that game, is that it's super chaotic.
And they
like,
force you
people play super chaotic.
They force you to do the missions in the public like session. You can't do it in the private session, because like sometimes I'll just go to invite only and it'll just be me, and I'll just like trying to like do some shit like so nobody fucking kills me while I'm trying to like just do my own thing. Yeah. But then to do the missions, you have to join the public council, which I fucking hate. So I don't want to do the mission. Like it should be an option whether I want to do the mission with some assholes also shooting at me, or if I want to do the mission on my own separately.
Yeah. I agree. Do you want to talk about hip hop? I feel like we've been talking about games for 20 minutes.
Yeah, like 2 seconds.
Cool. Do you want to talk about the new Drake release that came out? It was Dark Lane demo tapes.
I'm happy for Drake. I'm really happy for Drake. Like Drake can just throws together some shit. Like it's like
a bunch of
Lucy's. Sometimes does the equivalent of like going in your fridge and figuring out what the fuck to make for dinner when there's like nothing left. Like you ate all the good shit, and it's like the end of the week, you haven't gone food shopping, and you're just looking for shit to throw together and eat. Like Drake's are really good at doing that and then making it quality. Because this is what that.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a demo tape, but. I mean, there's definitely a few bangers on there. Obviously, I like the Chicago freestyle. Obviously, that was released like a couple months ago, like the video for it. But that's a dope song. Glad to see that's on there, because I wasn't really sure where that was gonna go. Like those freestyles, like what he was gonna do with them. If it was gonna you were gonna wait till he drops an album, or they on that, or whatnot. So,
what do you think about Tootsie Slide?
I mean, it's not really my type of song. Brilliant on his part, you know. TikTok, you can really use TikTok as a pretty good tool, a good marketing tool. So. Yeah, I mean, props to him for making a song that is like that works on TikTok.
I think the song's stupid.
Yeah,
I think the song is stupid as shit, but it kind of sounds cool because it's Drake and he can make anything sound cool. But I think the song is like. I
mean, it's a TikTok song.
It sounds like a Barney song, you know. Like it sounds like a Barney song, or like something that you would like listen to, like Dora the Explorer is singing like put your right foot in, take your right foot out, or some shit like that.
That's what TikTok is, though. That's what TikTok is. That's how people use it.
Yeah, no, but I feel like
the
dance itself is not that like it's not a good dance.
Well, it's not, but it's an easy dance for people to understand how to do it, and they can replicate it and post it on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, the song, like I said, is it's not a bad song. It's like
Yeah.
technically, it's not a bad song, but it's a bad song. It's like a bad song. Like it's
Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to
like,
it since he first dropped it. Like,
it's literally put your right foot in, take your right foot out, and shake it all about. Like, like he should have just named it the Hokey Pokey or some shit.
yeah. Yes. Who knows? Maybe that'll be on the album.
My favorite record on the album is War.
Well, you like that song.
Dude, I am not even tired. That song is one of my favorite Drake songs, I think, period.
Yeah, I mean,
love that sound. I love the whole like drill sound, like what is it, the UK drill sound?
Yeah.
I love that sound in general. Like I love when Drake uses it. I love, like, obviously with some of the UK artists like use it. Things like Skepta. But like even I like when like the New York drill sound with Rest in Peace Pop Smoke. But I really like War. I really like that record. I wish Drake did more songs with that. Like
he did a video to War, right?
Yeah, and the video was cool too because it's like,
are they in like a winter lodge thing or something like that?
Taking a little ski.
Okay, all right, I did see it.
They're on a ski vacation, which is, I think, is cool because like I don't usually think of rappers like going skiing, so I think it's kind of like it's very Canadian. But it's also kind of cool because you don't usually see rappers skiing, and Drake is like rapping.
It's different.
It's cool, but it's also bougie. I fuck with it.
Yeah, I also like Pain 1993 with Playboi Carti. That song's good. Yeah, it's just the album itself. Again, you can definitely tell it's like just a bunch of loosies thrown together, but yeah, it works. Because I think honestly, like him dropping his like full album right now just wouldn't probably be a good idea. Obviously, streaming numbers are down, so I think this was a smart, like, keep people like still interested, but also like, you can put something out, but it's not quite an album.
Yeah, he hit number 2. With not even trying. He hit number 2 trying to fix himself a fucking leftover meal. You know?
It's light work. It's like
congratulations to you, Drake, man. You got it made. He's got it.
It's like showing up to work and just like going in and just taking a nap.
Mailing it in and just like getting all the praise.
Yeah. I'm about it. I get it,
What do we got next?
Do we want to stay on hip hop? Because we do have a non-hip hop thing that we're gonna talk about.
You steer it. Let me know. You got the list right there. I got the list too, but I'm asking you for
let's talk about Swizz Beats wants to tax rappers.
Oh yeah.
so you seem to know about this.
All right.
Give us the rundown.
So let me just pull up the article that I'm gonna quote here, because the quote I want to quote Swizz Beats verbatim with what he said.
Okay.
And I want to like discuss like what we think. So okay, this is direct quote. I want to raise $1 million for each icon that started hip hop. He says around the 10-minute mark for this video that I have the video here, but he said it with Joe Budden. Of course, he said it with Joe Budden. I want to raise $1 million.
On live?
Yeah, I guess they were on live together. Joe likes to talk to people on his live a lot, so I guess he was on there. I want to raise $1 million for each icon that started hip hop. He says around the 10-minute mark. Cool Herc on down. The fact that we're not paying taxes on who started hip hop shows we don't fucking really love hip hop. The fact that we don't pay taxes to artists, to those icons that paved the way, took the lower cut for music that allows us to feed our family. Fuck the government. Okay. We need to be paying taxes. Fuck the government. We need to be paying taxes of hip hop that gave us freedom of speech to move forward. I'm going to go so hard with that. Melly Mel, Grandmaster Flash, Sugar Hill Gang, minimum $1 million a piece.
So is he saying like, so say if I'm an up and coming rapper, I would pay taxes and
No.
it would pay the.
No. He's saying the rappers who got money right now. Pretty much if
Oh, okay. Okay.
a part of the way I see this happening, if this was really instituted, I do not ever see this being instituted. But if it was for whatever reason, the way I see it happening is like every like major label deal that is signed, maybe a small percentage of that will be taxed to, a pension thing. Like the way I see it, like really kind of happening, if it was to happen, and I hope that one day we can get to this point. I just don't think that it's going to happen just off of what Swizz is saying here. But realistically, if this was going to happen, I think it would be, I'm an artist. I'm about to sign with Columbia Records. My deal is for like $3 million for I don't know 3-album deal or whatever like that. Depending on how popular I am and how much I can leverage myself, maybe that's the deal I get. A small percentage of that, maybe like 3% or something, 2%, maybe 1%. Who the fuck knows? They can argue for the percentage there, but a small percentage would probably be like tax for a hip hop pension plan for, I would think, rappers who have put in X amount of years in the game. So like, for example, Kool Herc, he's been around since the 80s. He's really sold so many albums. Like he had a huge mark in the culture. Like he hit, it's almost like, think about like baseball players being elected to the Hall of Fame, right? If we had a system like that where we are electing rappers essentially to the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, it could be cool to see one of the things that happens with the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, or be like they are a part of a pension plan that they'll never go broke because like every artist who signs like a big money major label deal, who wants to be like involved in this sort of like, because like I'm sure you can opt out of it. Like there'll probably be some opt outs if you want to do whatever. But if you want to be involved in it, essentially, if you get elected to this Hip Hop Hall of Fame, you get a pension plan and you'll never go broke again. I think that's a way to do it to make sense. What do you think?
My thing is like, how much would it be? Like because the thing is too, is like, you got to think about like how rappers like live their lives. Like a lot of them like spend crazy amounts of money.
I could definitely also be seeing it as a tax, like a 0.1% even. Like even if it's a small tax, like some of these artists, imagine what's 0.1% of a $6 million deal.
Yeah,
it's still a lot of money. If that's just one artist, like it might be, I think like it could be as little as a point of a percentage as opposed to like a full percentage point.
Yeah, but then there's also like those artists, they get royalties still.
I think
they're still getting money from their art.
It's really up to, I think. Okay, so I think in the end of the day, like, is it a good idea? Yes, if done. I think if you did it the way I just explained it, I can see that materializing. I don't think just putting a certain dollar in it and being like, so and so gets a mil, unless you want to do a thing like it's like it'd be cool to have like a hip hop Hall of Fame, that's like televised just like the Academy Awards or whatever, where like people in hip hop get elected, and maybe if they get elected, they get $1 million. That's that. But like that's a one-time check.
Yeah.
So like what happens? What happens after that lifetime check of $1 million? Like they go broke because they use it for like, I don't know, like medical shit. Like, maybe somebody gets cancer. One of these like rappers who got this lifetime achievement award, you get $1 million tax from these musicians. Then you use it because you get cancer. What happens then? So I feel like the better thing to do would be to give it a certain percentage point, even if it's a small fraction, but you always have money coming in because artists will continuously make money,
Almost like a social security check.
Yeah, like I think that's probably a better play than just like, here's $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. Like, I'm just curious on like what they would be expecting for like the amount, like what the amount would actually look like.
I think if it even looked like 1,000 a month, that's helpful. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these rappers from the early 80s, like they didn't make the money. I mean, like Kool Herc. I mean, I'm sure that they made Rock Kim. They all made their money. But there's some rappers I think who are on that list who probably like because of their deals or however the music industry was set up, they're not living life lavishly. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's like $1,000 a month, that might for a really really struggling like rapper who was like very popular in the early days, but like faded out and whatever trouble happened, that could make something. I would hope that it's at least $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean it.
And the way I see
that
it,
would be cool.
Yeah, and the way I see it, it would have to be like some sort of like you got elected to the Hall of Fame for hip hop, and then you get entitled to that. But it should be
can't just give it to everybody. It's
got to be like a hard like thing to get into. And then so like some of the rap, like we just talking about Drake. Yo, imagine if Drake, that would be an embarrassment of riches. If like Drake like fucking 30 years from now he's not rapping anymore and he's getting like.
Dude has like a $400,000 bed. Yeah. like I think he's good.
So some of these rappers, especially like nowadays, are like it's gonna be an embarrassment of riches, but it's really kind of meant for the rappers who are not like better off, or especially like with what Swizz Beats is saying, the rappers from the 80s who like before hip hop became this huge commercial money making industry. Yeah. It was definitely
there wasn't an industry yet.
Yeah, so especially for those guys, they definitely deserve something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I could back that for sure. Just not like the uber rich rappers. Like it just, to me, that just wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, it would take a while to get there too. Maybe 30 years from now, Drake loses all his money. Who knows? He gets like 3 divorces and his wives take them all. I don't know.
We don't know. We'll see. All right, moving on. So A$AP Rocky recently said that he started the whole. He made Air Force Ones popular. How do you feel about that?
I'm pretty sure A$AP Rocky is our age, right?
Yeah, he just turned 30, I believe.
So he would have to know that he would have to know that that's a fucking lie.
Yeah, because Air Force Ones.
He was our age when Air Force One was popular. And he was
exactly.
He was our age when Air Force One was popular. I think for us, Air Force One was probably in middle school, right? I think that's when I was wearing my Air Force.
Yeah. It was definitely middle school.
A$AP Rocky was in middle school while we were in middle school, and I was definitely rocking Air Force Ones. So
yeah, same.
If he's saying he started it, then I guess I'm a trendsetter because I did it before he was doing it. That's the way I see it.
Yeah,
because I was doing it in middle school, and I was doing it primarily because like it was affordable, but also like it was like the first pair. Honestly, it was the first pair of shoes that I could own that I wasn't getting made fun of because it wasn't Payless shoes.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Air Force Ones was my step up from Payless shoes to like grown-up shoes.
Yeah, because like Air Force Ones, how much were they? Like $40-$50 or something?
40, 50, $60. It was cheap.
Yeah.
You didn't get made fun of because as long as you had that Nike brand, you wasn't getting made fun of.
Oh, yeah. It was all about the brand,
As long as you had that Nike, it doesn't matter if it was $30, it doesn't matter if it was $50. Like, you was fine. But if you was wearing Payless shit, if you was wearing the Shaqs, you were going to get made fun of.
So do you think Nelly made it popular?
What was that?
Do you think Nelly made it popular?
No, I don't think Nelly made it popular, but I think Nelly deserves more of the credit for making it popular than A$AP. A$AP deserves no credit.
Well, I think they were definitely popular before Nelly dropped the song, but like,
well, maybe
it definitely put a spotlight on the shoe. Like,
yeah, he made it more.
People were wearing them before that.
People weren't. You said
were.
People were. Yeah, exactly. People were wearing them, but maybe he made it more popular.
Yeah.
Nelly. I mean, not Nelly. I think A$AP, if anything, I'm not like connected to these like, middle school kids. Maybe he made it popular for middle school kids like recently. I was in middle school when he was A$AP Rocky was famous. So maybe it died and he brought it back. I just think that he says that he popularized it. That's the part that I take issue with, because if anything, he brought it back. Because I stopped wearing Air Force Ones a long time ago, so maybe he brought it back. But he definitely didn't wasn't the first one to make it popular. It was already popular.
Yeah.
And then Nelly came around and made it more popular. And maybe it died down because I stopped paying attention afterwards.
Yeah,
so likely it died down, and then maybe he brought it back up, and that's that's how that goes. I will say, in terms of just while we're on ASAP, he may have not started that trend, but he's definitely a trendsetter. I think ASAP is probably one of my favorite. I would say probably one of my favorite artists in hip hop, because I would say a lot of his fashion has set a trend. Number one,
yeah,
he's a trendsetter. I mean, just not that.
Yeah, he definitely made the whole like rapper, fashion designer, that whole thing like popular. I'm not saying he was the first to do it. He just made it like pretty damn popular.
I really do wonder where he's gonna go even further in terms of the fashion thing, because I like ASAP's eye for fashion more than I like Kanye's eye for fashion by a million.
Yeah, I mean Kanye, I feel like he like his stuff is more like
Kanye dresses.
He wants like a reaction.
Kanye dressed like I dress, but I'm poor.
Yeah,
like he dresses like a bum, and then like that shit is like the popular stuff. Like he'll literally wear like a loose crew neck with sweatpants and then Yeezys that look like house slippers, and then that's just like like combined is like over $1,000 for the outfit,
And it's like all plain shit too.
Yeah, there's like no There's like no.
Like I don't know why there's so much value to some of the stuff.
Like, there's like holes in it and shit, and it's still like $400.
Like
you walk around in the rain, it gets your socks like wet, mad easy. But still.
like when he sold the white T-shirt for like I don't even remember how much it was, but it was like an insane amount of money. He was selling like a Yeezus like a Yeezy like white blank T-shirt for like some stupid amount of money, and I don't remember how much it was, but
and people buy it. So, but I think in terms of bringing it back to ASAP, I think ASAP is definitely a better fashion trendsetter than maybe not as big as Kanye, but me personally, I think he's better than Kanye, regardless of like what the numbers say. And then in terms of music, I also have to say I love ASAP's music. I think he has not just for fashion, but for music also, because this last, I didn't really like Long Live ASAP. It really wasn't for me. That was like more like the dubstep-y, clubbing, kind of record. And that was fun, but it got old quick. That Testing record,
that's a good record.
It definitely is a one of these records.
I feel like it didn't get as much like it definitely should have been played more. Like I just feel like it just didn't. Like you didn't really hear any of the singles on the radio, and I don't think that's like ASAP's fault. Or who knows? It could have been like a label thing or whatever. But yeah, I feel like he dropped the album, and then that was kind of it.
I just think that it was
a great record. Like
I think it was probably more avant-garde than people probably like. I think like there's no like. I think he just went his own way with the sound of the record, so it just sounded very unique. Like it sounded like an ASAP record. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It didn't sound like anything that I mean, it sounded like he had used like a lot of influences of musicians. Like I love the Moby like influence in the album. I love the Moby influence in the album. So it was definitely influenced by things, but it sounded like in terms of hip hop, it sounded like original, which it sounds like like original ASAP. So that's what I really, really liked about the record. It's just like it might not have like a crazy bop or like that summer smash, but it's just unique in its own way, and it's very chill. I don't know, like since it came out, I've like gone back to it, and it hasn't gotten old for me at all.
Yeah, it's definitely a good record. Yeah, I mean he's a dope artist, and he definitely brought like out a different sound. Like them coming out of New York is like they didn't have that quintessential New York sound. They literally brought their own shit out. Like
that's another reason why I love him. Like he's from New York. He could have adopted a more New York sound, but he's rolling with his own shit.
Yeah, he's definitely a trendsetter in that way.
And I think he set the trend for people like Pop Smoke also to go in that route too. You know, adopt like a drill scene, like, you know, from the UK. You know, I think maybe he set the trend for going your own separate way as opposed to the typical New York sound in New York.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
definitely.
I mean, people want to debate me on that or correct me on that, by all means. But you know, he definitely left his market in the music industry for sure, and in fashion.
Definitely.
I'm curious to see if he'll be the next mogul, like he'll be the next Jay-Z, Kanye. You know,
honestly, definitely possible. Yeah, we just got to give it some time and then kind of see. But yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
All right, what do we got? What else we got?
Still on hip hop stuff. So me and you were having a meeting the other day, and Al Divino and Grubby Paws jumped on Instagram Live and they played a bunch of new songs, release songs, and it was, dude, they were fucking bangers, man.
How many songs do you think he played?
I want to say it was like 6 or 7 songs.
I think it was about 6 or 7 songs. All the songs, amazing, fire.
All like
were crazy. And I was just listening through like his speakers out into my phone, like just like what his room sounded like. That shit was crazy.
Like, yeah.
So just know that crazy Al Divino fire, hopefully. So I'm not sure if it's like, if it's a planned release, they're going to release it, or if it's just like, this is some stuff that they have like waitings in the ether somewhere.
I really hope it gets a proper release. I hope it's out in the world for me to listen to.
It deserves a proper release. I had to like stop talking to you for most of
it. We were just like, we each had it on and we were just like listening to it. Yeah, it was fucking great, and I definitely can't wait for it.
Grubby Paws, man. Holy shit.
Yo, that collab is insane. Yeah, I'm about it. Those two collectively make really great music together, as well as Essenac too. When he jumps on a Grubby track, it's crazy. So yeah, man.
Yeah, the thing I love about Al is he is himself an amazing producer as well.
Yeah.
He can make amazing beats. So it's really cool to see him kill somebody else's beat.
Yeah.
You know, because he has his own style. Al has his own style, but then you mix somebody like Grubby's style with Al's style and you get something different. It was great to see them both in the same room, and also just like how great the production was and how great the rapping was also. So really, really, really looking forward to that project. Shout out Al, shout out Grubby Paws.
We felt like we needed to mention it because we were like, yo, those songs were crazy.
You know, like the best part about that, in my opinion, the best, and like, you know, obviously I hope for like more turn up, but like, dude, it was like us and like maybe like 40 to at most 50 other people in that session, in that live session. And it just felt like mad exclusive. Like, we're just like, let's see what Al's doing.
It felt like if you were going to like a listening party.
Oh, man. Yo,
with like industry people. Like, it's just like not that many people there. It's just like.
What day was it?
It was cool.
Was it like a Sunday? I don't know. It was like a random.
It was like a Saturday afternoon, I think.
Yeah, it was like a quiet Saturday afternoon. I didn't expect shit. I was like, I just tuned in to see what Al's up to. And then we get like, and what I feel like is a session I would have paid to see, you know?
Yeah. Like, that's definitely, I definitely can't wait for that to drop. So.
All right, what else?
So that's it for hip hop stuff. We could talk about this. This could be a good segue into like the next. Well, actually, we can talk about the Call Her Daddy podcast versus Barstool. Do you want to give us a little rundown of like what that is?
Yeah, so Call Her Daddy is a Barstool Sports podcast. Barstool Sports is like a sports blog website or media company at this point, because they do a lot more than just blogging now. Yeah. And they have this podcast, Call Her Daddy, with these two women who are pretty much like promiscuous, and just kind of like the whole podcast is kind of mostly just about like fucking and dicks and dudes and being sluts. Like that's kind of the podcast. It's like they own their shit, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of women fuck with it, and they're like, they're high. They're probably number one in terms of podcasts. Like they're like in terms of podcasts in general. Maybe not all podcasts, but they're definitely up.
But they're up there.
They're
They're pretty damn popular.
They have a fucking following for sure.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they're realizing how I think they're finally realizing how big their popularity has really gotten, or maybe they've always known. Yeah. But now it's really, they're realizing in terms of money, how popular they are and how much money they could be making, had they owned their name and their rights, which they don't.
So I have a question. So did they start the podcast themselves and then work with Barstool?
So, no. Barstool pretty much brought them in as like a freelance talent to do this podcast. So Barstool already had this idea in mind to make a podcast for women. They were gonna, because Barstool does this a lot. Like I've been following Barstool for a long time. They started from being like just dude centric and really kind of focusing on that demographic and being like very almost like to the point of being extremely sexist dude shit to try to like broaden their shit to include other people. And so one of the things they did is try to make a podcast for women so they can get a more female driven audience. And they did that. They got these two, Sophia Franklin and Alex Cooper, the host of the podcast. They got them to to do this podcast that Barstool created and owned. I don't know if they came up with a name or Barstool came up with a name, but essentially Barstool brought them in to do this podcast. So Barstool created the thing. And maybe Barstool also created the name for the podcast. I'd love to know who actually got the name, because it sounds like something that they would do as opposed to Barstool. But maybe Barstool's clever enough to do that.
So how do you feel about the whole situation? Because obviously they're not, so they're only getting paid like, how much are they getting paid? Like $75K each a year? Yeah, so the contract says they're each making $75,000 annually as a base salary, going up to $100,000 after 3 years, with an additional $2,500 an episode for every 10% of listeners that they can pull in above their average. The deal adds up to a steady six-figure take-home, insiders estimate. But we're told that the real money for the TV pair is from the TV and book spin-off deals, which they can't cash in on because Barstool owns the show's intellectual property, such as its name, logo, and concept. If I was their agent, this is like, who the fuck said this? If I was their agent, I'd tell them that now is the time to get out of their deal and renegotiate, said one who. Anyway, they're huge right now. You don't want to wait until after your moment has passed. Who's one? That's a weird set. Who's one? Yeah, I don't know.
That some random person said this is the time. That was weird. Fucking these days.
But yeah, it's definitely like I feel like they need to take some action and try to get their sort of.
Well, who's in the right here, Krita? Mr. Businessman.
So I'm very torn because
you're very what?
Like torn between the situation. Just because on a business perspective, I get Barstool's side of it. They're running a business. They have this massive following, and they're using that to Call Her Daddy got popular because of the power of Barstool. Obviously we have a podcast, so I get their perspective too. But I also I don't know what their situation was like when they first signed on. So they might have been struggling. It's just needed a job, and it seemed like a good idea at the moment. But it's look at what you're signing.
Here's what it comes down to for me. Would they have made this podcast if it wasn't for Barstool? Did they already have a podcast? Did they already have a podcast before Barstool? And was that podcast successful?
Yeah.
Did they not have a podcast, or they just women that were just Instagram influencers at because Barstool does this. They'll grab people who have nothing to do with the whole thing, and they'll put them in this role and then just like figure it out. And if they're good, they'll keep them. If they suck, they'll let them go. Barstool does that a lot. And so a lot of the talent sometimes is like yin or yang. Either they find
they have it or they don't.
They have like people who are like, why do you even work there? You do nothing. So there's a lot of that at Barstool, and I feel like I can't tell if they were like Instagram influencers who were hired to do a job with no like experience at all and never would have done it had it not been for Barstool and been like, here, you should do this podcast, we'll pay you.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly like the approach of like, if you have an idea for something, do it. And then let the other stuff happen later on. So like, let the deals happen later on. That way it's like you own your idea.
Yeah.
Like in our case, it's like if we got a deal, well, we own our podcast. So it would be a different deal. So yeah, I just think hopefully it's a learning thing for them. If they don't get into a deal like that again.
My problem is this article doesn't do enough justice. Like I can't tell, like I said, I can't tell their backgrounds before they were hired. And also like did like Barstool
we don't know what like how much Barstool like invested either. We don't know like the expenses of like the advertising and all that stuff.
Listen, all it says that it says we risked in the case of Call It Data, we took a risk on unproven talent and put the full resources of Barstool Sports and our $1 million marketing machine behind them to make them huge.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they came up with the name, they came up with the show, they definitely advertised it, and it was all them from the beginning, and then these two people were just the right choices that they picked? I think that's a win for Barstool. If I'm being honest, to me, the way it sounds like, it seems like it's a win for Barstool because you found the right people to fill this role for a show that you created that you needed to find two people to fill that role.
Yeah.
It seems like they knocked it out of the park.
Clearly it's a very successful
Now these girls are like, fuck, we should have done this shit for ourselves as opposed to like allow Barstool to hire us to do it for us.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. It seems like Barstool put the whole play into order and these girls are just kind of walked into this and then realized how big they could be. I'm with Barstool on that. I gotta side with Barstool on that. I honestly and I know we're like, for us, obviously we're podcasters. We're always looking to sign some sort of a deal. But here's where I think we're different from them. The concept that we have now.
Well, we came up with this concept.
This is us from the beginning. Like
we do everything.
We have a proof of concept. Our proof of concept is now 28 episodes in.
Yeah.
This is us. So they can't say that they came up with X, Y, and Z because we've always had this concept. And eventually maybe we'll grow it to include some other things. But the overall, like, this is our shit. So if we do get signed to a company like Barstool, if we were to ever get signed to like a Barstool or anything like that, they can't say that maybe they could say they put their $1 million, what do they call it, $1 million resource machine or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe they could say that, but the name was ours. The concept of the podcast was ours, and our personalities are ours. Like everything is ours, aside from like they're like essentially their cult following, which is.
And huge. We also like we own a company, so it's like, and it falls under our company, so it's
and so I would. Sorry, let me finish my point real quick. So I would say, in our case, we wouldn't be struggling for publishing because we would own our.
We own it. Yeah.
We would own our publishing.
They would have to pay like a licensing fee.
So they would probably but I don't want to say, talk money on the air, but let's say, for example, if it was our deal with Barstool, I would be more okay if it was that same deal, which is $75,000 a year, some percentage, some bonuses along the way. I'd be okay with that deal as long as I own our publishing, as long as we own it. So it was like, it'd be like
we could sell the books, we could sell the live shows, we could do all that.
Exactly. But it would be a 1-year podcast deal for $75,000 plus however incentive hits we make, so on and so forth. But we would own our publishing. But we also had the wherewithal to start it, follow it up, build it, promote it, get it to a point where it would be picked up by a company. So that's where
the thing too is like we like people don't realize like the amount of work that goes into our podcast. It's like we do the work behind the scenes. So it's like we're
Just us-
editing the podcast, we're doing the research, we're doing the questions,
Promote
we're booking the people,
social
we
media.
pay for advertising, so it's all these things that like they might not do, and they have people at Barstool that handle those things.
Like I said, I've been following Barstool for a long time. The majority of the people that work at Barstool, if it wasn't for Barstool, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Honestly,
and it's pretty like common.
They would be a mailman, they would be a working at Market Basket. They would be doing because like a lot of those people, they don't have the wherewithal to start their own company from the ground up and really follow through with it. They're entering a multi-million-dollar company who are hiring people to give them opportunity. Like that's why I fuck with Barstool. Like it literally like allows people to create their own platform, get big off of it, and then like if you were smart about your contract negotiation, walk away like Jenna Marbles did. Jenna Marbles was like, a Barstool intern. Then she started working full time at Barstool, and then like she got a following, and then she did her own shit, made YouTube videos, and now she's got like a net worth of $10 million from her YouTube followers. Like Barstool allows people to get their opportunity. It's supposed to be more of a springboard website where you start out and then you get big and then you kind of you take from that as you will. So I like that. I like that concept in a company as long as like if we sign anything, it would be we own our publishing. But also they don't come up with our shit. We came up with it. They're just now like putting their money behind it, promoting it. So it's different. It's definitely different, the deal that they signed. I think, like I said, I'm with Barstool on it because they came up with the concept. It was all them, and then they hit it out of the park with their hiring process.
I think that is the key to this whole thing.
It almost sounds like
who came up with the idea.
It almost sounds like they're being punished for hitting it out of the park with a good idea and getting the right people behind it.
Yeah,
it's like they got you. You agreed to the deal. And you wouldn't have been doing this anyway. You'd be fucking doing Instagram photos.
Yeah, and it's also like know what you're signing. So it's like, like if you're signing a deal like that, okay, like, so say it might have been like a 5-year deal. Look at it and go, okay, well, this thing might blow up in 2 years.
If they signed a 5-year deal, they're
so let's do a 2-year deal and then renegotiate after like 2 years or a year.
For that money, I would have only done a 1-year deal. For that money,
same.
If I was really desperate, but $75,000 a year plus incentives, I would see with their full like media promotions. I think like if they believed in their own talent, they should know that deal is good for 1 year. See where you build your brand, and then renegotiate from there.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, what's next on the list?
So we're finishing up here. So recently, we've been we've been growing our numbers on YouTube, obviously, with subscribers. Recently, we're close to 100, but not quite there. And it's been like the hardest thing for some fucking reason, and I don't really understand why it's been so hard to.
You sound so ashamed to talk about it.
I do, because like I thought it would have been easier. Because it's like, obviously people check out our podcast, but I just feel like it's tough to get people to just click that button, subscribe, and I don't know why. To be honest, I am pretty surprised also. I thought that when we originally thought of this idea, we thought what better way to like engage the community and like do something for a lot of the talent that we have here. Thankfully for us, like people do support us. People definitely do support us. The musicians, especially in the community, definitely support us. But it seems like what we thought would be an easy people will quickly get behind this. People will definitely follow and subscribe. We'll grow this thing like nothing.
We'll go because like everybody has a friend in this area that's a musician or an artist of some sort that I feel like people at this point would get behind. But it definitely, and if you follow us, you know that we've been doing our job in terms of like promoting it. We've been doing everything we can in terms of really kind of promoting it. It's been a tough climb to 100.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, hit that button, subscribe. Just Just smash that button real quick.
Like, you know that what is it, that allegory with the guy like pushing that like boulder up the mountain?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like for us. We're like pushing that boulder up the mountain, you know, and trying to get all the way to the top, but it's been hard.
Yeah.
So please hit the subscribe button because we want to hit 100.
We really want to hit 100.
Our goal, honestly, was 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but you know,
we're halfway through the year, and it's
with this pace, I'll be
get to 100.
Yeah, I'll be happy if we hit 150 this year. But our goal is still 1,000. If you're watching this, if you even like only like watch the episodes where like the person that you know is on, so you'll listen. Whatever, I don't care how little or how frequent you listen to this. Please subscribe, please share, and let other people know about it.
And also, like if you have friends that like hip hop and things like that, recommend the podcast. Yeah. Also, if you listen on like Apple Podcast, leave a review. You can even rate the podcast, so give us a rating. So,
yeah, man, show some love.
All of that stuff helps.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the year plays out. In terms of what the support is like, and kind of like reassess from there how we'll take things. But yeah, definitely the more support we get, the more empowering it is for us to continue on. And so we definitely appreciate any sort of support. But yeah, off that, what else we got?
That is it. We covered everything.
Wow. Yeah. Sweet. Well, stay tuned for more next week. We do have a guest, so expect a nice new project for your ears to enjoy. Yeah. We got another local artist from the Boston area coming to join us next week, so definitely stay tuned for that. Just like we said earlier, if you enjoyed this podcast, please like, comment, and subscribe. Show us some love.
We got some merch. You can check that out.
Actually, like, comment, subscribe, and share. How about that?
Share that shit. Show your friend. Show your mom. Show your grandmother. I don't know. They might be into it. They might be into it. We don't know. You don't know. So
yeah, peace, y'all. Thank you guys again for hanging in there with us.